8 months ago, we booked what Holland America calls a grand voyage, a 42-day round trip from Fort Lauderdale with stops in 10 Mediterranean countries. We paid our fare up front, we booked plane flights and hotel, we packed, we didn't get on the ship. And it appears that there were 100 other people just like us, including about a half dozen who watched the ship sail away. Today, I'm going to explain exactly how this happened, the experiences we went through along the way, and what, in my opinion, Hal needs to do to fix it. Welcome back to My Travel Window, where our goal is to help you travel as far as you can and as well as you can while you still can. First, let me be fair. We knew there was a very good chance we wouldn't get on this ship. We booked this cruise as a standby ticket. For those of you unfamiliar with the program, let me give you a brief summary. Hal started this program about a year ago. It's gone through multiple iterations. I've done a series of 5 videos on the sequence, which you can find in the link showed here. But bottom line, Hal offers the option to pay up front for a cruise at a discounted rate. Then you find out somewhere between 7 and 2 days before sailing if a cabin's available. You'll get on if the ship doesn't sell out or if there's a last-minute cancellation. If you don't get on, they refund the money. We'll go more into the nuances as I describe our experience. After a brief pilot period, Hal launched into the program in earnest in March of 2024. We were among the first to discover the opportunity, and we booked 2 trips almost immediately. What we discovered about our first booking to Alaska is that there's a lot more logistics to think about, even with a port that's within driving distance, such as how early to arrive, whether or not to book a hotel, where to park to ensure you have a spot for a week, but don't have to pay a huge fee if you have to cancel. And the anxiety of not hearing from day 7 until day 2 turned out to be much harder than we expected. But the second cruise was emotionally much harder to handle. Since we had already cruised to Alaska 3 times, there was no sense of missing out on the trip of a lifetime. But the second cruise included stops in Morocco, Egypt, and several other bucket list destinations that we thought we would never make it to. The other issue was expectations. We knew our Alaska trip would sell out. This tempered our enthusiasm as we went in with the expectation we wouldn't likely get on the ship, and it would be a pleasant surprise if we actually did. But this one was different. It included a double transatlantic crossing. We knew that transatlantic sailings often don't sell out, and we hoped that that would be the case this time. And for the first 5 months, it seemed to be the case. Each time we went out to the Hal website, there would be dozens of cabins available in every class. Then literally overnight, the ship suddenly showed as sold out, and remained that way for the final 2 months before embarkation. We came to realize that a number of guarantee cabins had been sold, but not assigned, so they didn't show up on the Hal website. So the ship was actually much fuller all along than it appeared. What would you do at this point, knowing you couldn't walk away without losing most, if not all, your money? Well, you'd search for information to let you know where you stand. So we called Hal and asked them. They were absolutely zero help. Not only couldn't they tell us where we stood in the queue, they couldn't even tell us how many standby people there were on the list. Whoa! Along with another couple that we met via our channel, we scoured social media sites like Facebook and Cruise Critic. We were looking for news that would indicate people had canceled. What we found was even more disheartening. In addition to being sold out, there were now people purchasing waitlist tickets for higher fees than we paid. We assumed that these people cut in line in front of us, although no one at Hal would tell us that. It was at this point that we learned another valuable lesson. A great part of enjoyment of any cruise vacation for us is the planning and anticipation. We watched in dismay as the ship tours to the pyramids all filled up without us, as standby passengers couldn't make any reservations. We planned and we packed without any enthusiasm or pleasure. We fretted over alternative plans, spending more time focused on what to do when we didn't get accepted. Hal promised notification somewhere between 7 and 2 days before the trip. We received our notice mid-afternoon, 3 days before departure. We were given the option to cancel and get money back, or we could choose to stay in line, giving them a time when we'd finally give up. Here is the exact wording. Like most people, we canceled, which saved us the expense of a trip to Florida. Our original plans were to fly there and take an alternate last-minute cruise, but those have been scrapped in favor of a trip to visit family. One passenger reported that there were 100 people on the standby list. It seems crazy that they accepted this many standby passengers for a ship that has a capacity of 1,400. At $2,500 or more each, that's over $250,000 in refunded cruise fares. At least 6 hardy souls waited at the dock and were turned away 1 hour before sail away when the final manifest was due. According to these, there were no standby passengers who made it on the ship. 0 out of 100 is not a good outcome. So let me close this video with the answer to 3 questions. Has this experience permanently affected our opinion of Hal as a cruise line? No. In fact, we booked a new Holland America cruise within 2 days of the cancellation of this one, and no, it was not on standby. 2. Will we ever do standby again? As it stands now, absolutely not. The way they manage this process makes it completely worthless to us. For a single, it's still a reasonable option because of the lack of a single supplement, but I don't think it's worth it for anybody else. 3. What changes would Holland have to make for us to reconsider? There's 3 things that Holland has to change to make this program work again. Here's the link to the video where I explain just what those 3 things are. We promised to do this video and tell people what the actual outcome was to our trip. Were we disappointed? Yes. Does life go on? Yes. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like content like this. In the meantime, safe travels.